everyone? Welcome to B-Sides TV. We are here at Miami Music Week with Syence. Welcome. So we're here, Zach and Braden, awesome duo. We just saw them play live. They are high energy, really good set. If you ever need dopamine, please go to their sets. If you need to wake up in a good mood, please go to their sets. How are you guys finding Miami?
It's great. It's a little humid, but I love it.
I know, isn't it hot? I'm already sweaty and it's only like 10 a.m.
We hear today's been like the coolest day too of the week.
I know, it's true. It's usually like 90 degrees. But what plans do you guys have this weekend?
We have a lot of plans. We've just played our set, obviously, and then we're kind of hanging out, meeting some people.
We need a nap at some point. We took a red eye from LA, so we will, at some point there will be a nap. Cass will determine that for us.
We landed at like 5 a.m. and then our set was at noon, so wasn't that much time to relax.
So you guys are like really high energy, like in your sets. How are you guys going to prepare without any sleep? Like what do you guys do to get in the
adrenaline? Natural preparing energy right there.
Yeah,
adrenaline.
And maybe like a drink or two, I guess.
Yeah. Drink or two.
Yeah.
But tell me a little bit about your newly released EP, Basspop. How was putting that together?
Yeah, we've always wanted to do an EP that like created its own sound and genre. We've really looked up to artists like, Skrillex when he started releasing dubstep. I mean, I don't know if he was the first one, but it definitely, all of a sudden, dubstep was on the map. So we've always tried to find a subgenre that we could kind of define as, wow, that's Syence, right? So Basspop was the first collection of music that we felt defined this like unique sound we had thought of, which is really based around bass production and then pop vocals and like meshing the two together. Typically, you'll see pop vocals in a much different lane and you'll see bass production in its own space, right? So we were like, we love bass music, we love pop vocals, let's try to combine them. And that's where the EP and the concept of bass pop sort of came from. There's a bunch of other stuff that inspired it, but that's like the general idea.
Yeah. And it's like pretty broad, so as we evolve and like all of our new music that hasn't come out yet is very different, but it still kind of fits within this like moniker of bass pop. We're just trying to kind of like have something that we coin that like we can explain, because ultimately our music's pretty genreless. Like I feel like every song's kind of different, so it's a good way to be able to kind of rein all that into like an easy phrase that we can tell people,
And I was going to ask you guys that because I'm sure you have a collection of music that just hasn't been released. How do you decide what to put together? Like what goes together?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, a lot of it also is like, also we just try to put out music consistently. So like last year it just happened to work out that we were kind of like, we should like package a group of songs together and call it an EP and put it out. And whereas this year we're doing a lot more singles, we don't really have a plan for a body of work. I think it's kind of just like whatever makes sense at the moment for our team and us and whoever we're working with, because we work with a lot of different labels. So navigating that can be kind of difficult because every team is different and the cadence of putting out music's different. But ultimately our goal is just to put out the best songs we can as frequently as possible, and that's kind of what led to the Basspop EP, because it just happened to work out at that time.
Yeah, in a perfect world we would just release everything and people would have it, but when you put out a song, you want it to get to as many people as possible, so it requires planning. You want to know like who's down to help you in terms of like a label or whatever. So a lot of it comes down to like when we have, let's say, 7 finished songs, like who's interested in them, what would they like to do with them. Sometimes like with Create they want to do an EP, sometimes the label wants to just do a single. So ultimately like these songs are kind of like our kids. It's like we want our kids to be successful and like have the best path to like grow and whatever, right? So it just kind of comes down to like what support we're getting on them and then like how we can combine them either into a full body of work or sometimes just a single. And so far this year we've definitely seen this single route be more likely for what's unreleased today.
Makes sense. And you guys have so many singles out, and it's happened so fast, right? Like you guys had that A Little Bit Bored, and it just went kind of viral. That track it blew up, and that kind of kickstarted a lot of things for you guys. And it's been so fast. How's that trail been, that adventure? Like it's been what, 2-3 years where everything's just...
Yeah, I mean, it depends when you define the start of the adventure. Like, so Zach and I met in a science class in college our freshman year, which was 2011. So technically, that's when it started. We had no idea what we were getting into or what we were gonna do. We originally met up and loved Blink-182 together. We tried recreating Blink-182 in electronic music production software. It was really bad. We need to like put that out as a joke one day. I feel like just like
we were also just really
false,
bad.
Yeah, like it's like here's where we started and how bad.
It was such a different
we
time
now.
too. Like YouTube.
We barely. I didn't even know electronic music. He later really showed me people like Maddie on Porter or Skrillex, and I was like, okay, I need to pay more attention to this. And then all that. But yeah, with A Little Bit Bored specifically, we had just kind of brought on this new team in terms of management, and we got some serious interest from the label Hitco, which ended up releasing the song, and it was this big kind of momentum shifter for us. That was really exciting. Like, we had never had this kind of attention on any of our music before, and this amount of support. And, you know, it went viral on Triller, which, for those that don't know Triller does a lot of things. One of the things they do is they have an app that competes with TikTok, and, you know, a lot of their creators on the app were using the song, and it went viral there. I think it was like 14 million streams.
No, like, I think it was like 30 million streams.
Probably, yeah.
That's
I don't
so
remember.
exciting to see.
But like really quickly, you know, like it happened within a month. And then that was because we had signed the song to a campaign for NYX Cosmetics. So they were doing a marketing campaign that used A Little Bit Bored. All these creators were using it. And then that got the attention of Hitco. We released it. And yeah, that song, I mean, I've had so many friends, you know, say this totally resonates with me in terms of my dating life right now, right? So I think there was a message there that was very tragic, but like unfortunately relatable. So I think the combination of all these creators, Hitco, Triller, people liking the message or relating to it, really created this moment for us, and it helped us get to where we are now, which is exciting. So
Definitely. And one of the coolest things I remember looking up was that you guys were at a set in Coachella watching Zedd, and that's when you two were like, we should just do this. And it was last year that you guys played with Zedd in Boston. That's so like,
Yeah, it was cool.
And another end of the spectrum. How was that?
Yeah, I mean, it was a great moment for us. I feel like it kind of was like a very full circle thing. And we've gone on, like, I feel pretty, like, I'm pretty good friends now with Anton, who's Zedd. And it's just, like, cool to think, because we definitely, like, were together and we were watching his set and seeing, like, and that was, like, right when electronic music started to get the stage that it was getting, like, the production and, like, the coolness of it. And so we were just, like, mesmerized by that, and, like, full circle, being able to be a part of kind of a show with him. And like we had similar team at the time, so it was really cool. It was definitely like a very surreal kind of moment, and it was great.
yeah, and when you talk about like our journey earlier, that's potentially what we would consider the start of the journey. Even though we had known each other for probably 3 years at that point, we had messed around, we DJ'd a few things together, but like there wasn't an actual project behind it. We didn't have any sort of goal. We were just doing it, and then we saw that, and we're like, okay, we have the like skills to start working towards that. Let's get there and figure out how to do it, which I don't think we ever realized how difficult it is or like what actually is required, but you just got to keep doing it. And so that was like what we sort of considered the start. There's like multiple points where we consider it like the start of something different in the career, but that was the first point where we made a project together, started making like a SoundCloud, all that stuff. So it was a cool moment for us, and to now have played with him and like hung out with him and just talk about his life and his career with him is wild, because it's just very surreal.
Yeah, and it's just definitely like really motivating too, because while it's obviously sick that we got to do that, we're still like nowhere near like where we want to be. So just like to have that happen gives you a lot of like fuel to keep going and to keep pushing and to, you know, one day be hopefully like as big as Zedd. So
Yeah,
cool.
it's good motivation. Any cool collabs that you guys are planning?
Yeah, we have so many collabs. I think we literally are working on like 11 collabs right now.
Yeah, like there's a couple of our friends who we've been along the journey with for a long time for a variety of reasons. One of the ones I'm most excited about is one of our friends. She goes by Sad Alex. She was with Red Bull Records for a while. I think she's now independent. She's done some really cool stuff with a ton of artists. Honestly, you should check out her TikTok. She's hilarious and like writes some really cool stuff. She was actually my neighbor for a little bit. Zach's known her for a long time. We have a cool song with her. She did a lot of the writing, and then obviously the vocalist on that. And then one of my good buddies goes by If Found. He's playing at the Slander show tomorrow. Carson. I've been friends with him since before he even started the If Found project. He was in a different project for a while, and we have a cool kind of like experimental, at least for us, track with him. There's a really talented guy out of Australia named Darby. Very slept on, like really, really creative guy that we're working on a song with as well. Those are the three that are like front of mind. And then there's obviously the Nico and Sway stuff. We're making a bunch of remixes with them, but that's different.
Our buddies Nico and Sway, who are also out here playing some shows.
Yeah.
We've been doing a lot of kind of like bootleg flips of popular songs that are coming out. So we've done one like of the most recent, or not the most recent, but one of the new Odessa tracks, and then of the most recent Chainsmokers song. And so we've just been like remixing them super quick, making a bunch of social media content, And the Odessa one actually like picked up pretty heavily on social media. Like I think we've gotten like
went mildly viral.
yeah, we've probably had like between their
It's a good mix. It's a good mix.
Viral.
between their DMs and our DMs, we've probably had like between 500 and 1,000 people reach out and be like, like send us the link to download. So,
Never
like,
had an experience like that with
Yeah,
where
it was-
people are like desperately like trying to.
yeah,
get
it was
access to
definitely
which is
like
cool.
it feels good to like have people really want to hear it. Just random, random humans that we don't
And
know who they are.
our group text, we probably have like one new like, oh, we should do a bootleg for this like once a week minimum.
Yeah.
So we have a laundry list of like 6 ideas. 7
We
ideas
love
that wanna
collaborating
do.
because it's like, me and Brayden obviously work well together and do stuff, but to have just a complete other perspective come in and to work with, it's super satisfying as an artist because you can like just bounce ideas off of them and like everyone has to like tries to one up each other, so you end up making something cooler, I think. So we're focusing a lot on collabs this year. And it's also great for releasing music because you get to like tap into 2 fan bases. So it's definitely our plan.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Thank you two so much for taking the time to hang out with us here at B-Sides TV. This is Syence here at Miami Music Week. Thank you so much. Have a good weekend.